Yo, what's up everybody? How's it going? Welcome to the Weirdness of 7.22, where we talk about things that have been changed. Now, as always in these Weirdness videos, these are not about balance. These are about what is in the patch that is new that you need to know about. So if a hero has +1 base armor like Legion Commander, it's not something I will bring up because frankly that doesn't really change how we play against Legion Commander. Right, she's a little bit better, but it doesn't really matter for our purposes. What we're talking about today, mostly, is Aghanims, because 7.22 was the Aghanims patch, where everything is about Aghanims, and we go nutty with Aghanims, alright? So first of all, Aghanims, you can see we've got this little blue tinge right here on all the heroes. That's because they have Aghanims. Like now, if you have an Aghanims Scepter, that blue effect is shown on the hero. Now, there will be some things that we will have to do after we move out of this prep test game I've set up to show there, but we can do a lot right now. So let's go and start with the boring stuff though, because there's a lot of interesting stuff and we want to do it all at once. So, the boring stuff. Down here, the map was changed just a tad bit. That's it. Down here, the map was changed just another tad little bit. You can still walk through here. You can also walk through here now, and you can actually go through here as well. I can show you really quick with Monkey King, who's got his Aghanims effect going on, by the way. This is Monkey King's Aghanims effect, the new one. We will talk about that in just a second. But yeah, so this all still exists as before, but, you know, there's this new little area here in the tree, and the tower has been moved a little bit, which, thank God, it looks much better this way, doesn't it? And, yeah, anyway. Tome of Knowledge now provides 10 tomes, provides 2 tomes at minute 10, and it has a 5-minute use cooldown. Now, the important thing here is it's not a 5-minute restock. The restock time on a tome hasn't actually changed. You only get 2 of them at minute 10. But it has a 5-minute cooldown, meaning that if you want to use both tomes on the same hero, you need to kind of wait 5 minutes, right? You can't just go and take both tomes and put them on the same hero and consume them at the same time. That's not how it works. You need to be a little bit more patient than that. Then we have Chen. Holy Persuasion has been changed to now be a passive. Wait, Divine Favor has been changed to be a passive. Maybe. The Holy Persuasion now provides bonus movement speed to creeps. But Divine Favor is a passive. It now provides passive heal increase to allies in an AoE, provides a little bit of reach and a little bit of attack speed. The region is really quite insignificant. The bigger change to Chen is really that he now provides movement speed to the creeps, even though it's just a little bit. That's actually something that is fairly important. And yeah, so that's Chen. We've got Outward Devour. Equilibrium now says Mana Steal. When you level this up, it now passively provides up to 32% mana steal based on damage dealt. The really important thing to remember here is that, in fact, Equilibrium provides absolutely no mana steal. In fact, it doesn't steal anything, it pirates it. So, to me, when I first saw this, mana steal implied that, you know, enemy loses the mana, you get the mana. Right, that's stealing something, you take it from them. It's actually just a mana gain based on your damage. So if we go ahead and just get also this, then I attack our anti-mage right here. You can see our anti-mage doesn't lose any mana, but we do gain mana. So I can also go ahead and actually burn some mana now. Actually, wait, sorry. What the fuck? Right, you can see Anti-Mage doesn't actually lose any mana, he only loses intelligence, but we gain mana every time we deal damage, and if we now turn this off, we still gain just a tad bit every time we attack. So it's mana gain, it's not mana steal as much as it tells you that it is mana steal, it just doesn't steal. At best, it's a mana pirate. Also, if you activate it, the mana pirating is tripled, so that's nice. Still provides the slow though, although the slowing numbers are just a tad bit weird. I don't know why they didn't do 11, 22, 33, and 44, and instead did 12, 22, 32, and 42. It's just not that clean. But now I'm really being quite picky. Anyway, Mana Pirate. We've got ourselves Treant Protector, who's got Nature's Skies back, so it is now an active, no longer passive, right? And you phew, and now you're invisible, and you get Nature's Skies and all of that stuff. Right, it's no longer passive. It's got a pretty significant cast point. Can I turn this off somehow? I gotta walk away from the trees really quick. Alright, here we go. That's a pretty significant cast point though, so it's a little bit tricky to use. But it's got no fade time, which is really good. And yeah, so Dream Protector, kind of back somewhat to his old ability, right? Talking about his old ability here, I don't currently have on here, but Bloodseeker got his old ultimate back, where it's now lethal and based on the movement speed, but movement of the enemy hero. But anyway, and then last but not least, I think this is probably meta game. Like, this is probably the most relevant for the meta game. Drow Ranger, now marksmanship doesn't one-shot Ancients anymore, right? If we actually, sorry, let's drop that really quick. So if she gets marksmanship on Ancients, it doesn't one-shot them. Still one-shots normal creeps, right? So if we go ahead and attack you, cool, instantly dies. It also doesn't pierce all armor anymore, only base armor. Which means that against the Drow Ranger, you can now actually armor up a little bit and she doesn't just destroy you. So that's also good. It's probably like the biggest kind of like meta change in here. But let's talk about Aghanims, right? Now, Aghanims is now a consumable item. Now, it's not entirely consumable. It's actually quite expensive. For 6,200 gold, you can consume it. It's really something you will only see super late game. And so, it's also something that I will show a little bit more in detail after we're done with all of the Aghanims showcases, I suppose. But right now, we're gonna go and do the Aghanims showcases. I sadly cannot really do the Aghanims showcase. Like, I cannot do the consuming showcase right now because of the way the lobby is set up. But we will do that later. So, let's start with Abaddon. Abaddon, and now it has increased duration as before, but while borrow time is active, anytime an ally takes more than, I believe, 520 food damage, while they are within a 1600 radius, Abaddon will automatically cast a mist coil on them. Now, this is really the same effect as before for most of the game. Like, I know it sounds really different, but here's the thing. Before, Abaddon just absorbed 50% of the damage allies took and healed himself with that. Now, every 525 damage, he will heal them for 255 damage. Which really is essentially the same thing. Like, the numbers are very, very similar. Now, it's a little bit better because plus 60 miscoil heal / damage means that, you know, now it's 315. So, like, it's actually, like, the ratio becomes better. But for most purposes, it's actually kind of the same effect. So, let's go ahead and showcase it a little bit, right? We're going to go ahead and attack right here. And you can see now Abaddon throws out a heal. Now, this does mean that it kind of like synergizes with some stuff it didn't before, like heal amping, right? But yeah, it's just like a neat little thing that I really feel like this is mostly about flavor, not so much about being particularly, you know, like game-breakingly new, right? But there's one scenario in which case this actually ends up mattering a lot. So first of all, after you get the talent, it's actually a bit better than before. But the 375 miscoil AoE. Now, that's gonna be the interesting one, right? So we activate this and then still doesn't. Okay, I thought that would work. Mabi, I did not check that. Oh well, here we go. So that doesn't work. There we go, look at that. Now we know that too. I wonder if it works if there's an ally nearby. That's a little bit disappointing. I gotta say, I checked everything else, I promise. I did not check this one, because it just kind of assumed this would work. Why wouldn't it work? So I guess, actually, yeah, it's just kind of like a bit of a flavor change more so than anything. Like, the numbers really aren't that different. They just really aren't. It's just mostly the same as before. So I guess it's still not a reason to really get that talent over the other one, and yeah. Anyway, it's kind of cool though. I actually like it. I think it's gonna break some custom games, but that's okay. What doesn't break custom games, right? So, we've got Alchemist. So, Alchemist now, when he feeds people Aghanims, which he can still do, right? All of these bots actually got their Aghanims effect from Alchemist. Keep in mind, this Scepter synth retains stats, so that's important. And also, For every ally that Alchemist has fed an Aghanims to, he gets damage and spell amp. So you can see I currently have plus 990 damage and plus 198 spell amp. Let me check really quick. Yeah, he gets plus 30 damage and plus 6% spell amp for each Scepter that he has given to allies. So, Alchemist hits pretty hard right now. But the important thing is that he needs to carry an Aghanims himself for this effect. If he doesn't have an Aghanims himself, then he doesn't get it. But it's good enough if he has consumed an Aghanims. He doesn't need to actually have it equipped, right? You can see I have the Scepter synth on the Alchemist right now as well. And yeah, so that is also fine. Then we have Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage is a bit of a weird one. We're going to go ahead and... Where did I move my Abaddon? I'm actually probably not going to do the Abaddon. Let's go ahead and do a different hero first. Let's do Arc Warden first. There we go. And then we're going to do Anti-Mage afterwards. So, Arc Warden gets Rune Forge, which creates a random rune in front of you. Alright? So, works like this. Look, there's now a haste. We can pick up this haste and run around with it. Alright, we got a Bounty Rune. Cool. Alright, got an Illusion Rune. Cool. Another Bounty Rune. Cool. Regen. Bounty. Double damage. Illusion. So it's kind of, it's random which one you get. I've kind of just gotten a lot of bounties recently. But it's actually kind of completely random which ones you get. But yeah. So you can create runes. Your Tempest Double can also use this ability. I cannot show this right now because sadly it is buggy and doesn't work. Yeah, you cannot use illusions. Like you cannot use summons from bots in this lobby. Thanks to Valve removing that feature for some reason. But yeah, so it does have the ability. It can use it. I just can't really show it right now. Cool thing about these runes, you can actually bottle them, so you can see I have a double damage. They're really just normal runes. They work exactly like you would expect the normal runes to work. They are not different, right? Like they're the exact same thing. So we've got Arc Warden with the Rune Forge. Now we can actually do Anti-Mage. So Anti-Mage, his ultimate now Mana Void kills cause the enemy's highest cooldown ability to take longer to cool down and increases stun duration. So it increases the cooldown of your longest cooldown ability by 70 seconds, and it also has an increased stun duration of 1.3 seconds. Now, there's a lot of stuff that isn't mentioned in this tooltip, sadly. Alright, but let's go ahead and get some damage in on this boy. So, first of all, if I kill him... If I had killed him within the stun, it would also have counted as a kill for the Mana Void. You don't actually have to kill with Mana Void, you just have to kill in Mana Void. Alright, so let me try that again. I actually got the... so we'll... that's not quite enough. Another Mana Void. Should that be enough? Oh, nice. So, boom. That counts for a Mana Void kill. Right, now we need to wait for that boy to respawn. What's also important is that the additional cooldown only applies after the respawn time is over. Right? So you would think, okay, well, isn't the additional cooldown kind of pointless because you're gonna kill them? Right? So you kill them and then... right? And then it's just cooling down while they are dead. No, the cooldown only applies after they respawn. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind there. Let's go move these guys out there so we can notice when the Arc Warden respawns and have a look at it then. And yeah, now it doesn't matter who gets the kill with the Mana Void. Anybody can get the kill. It still counts for the Mana Void kill, but you will not be the hero credited with the kill. Okay? So it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Anyhow, we've got Arc Warden, we've got Beastmaster. Now Beastmaster is a funny boy. Let me go ahead and unwhat the fuck, so you don't think I'm cheating here. But Wild Axes have no cooldown, but you can only use them again after they have returned. So if you throw your Wild Axes, you can see they're traveling, right? And you can see that they actually just like cool down immediately, right? It's a 0 on them, and as soon as they are back to me, I can throw them again. Now, this may seem really powerful, but I actually don't really think that's that strong. So first of all, usually you want to use this at long range to hit as many people as possible. In that case, it actually takes a long time to return. Oh, Arc Warden is coming back. Hello, buddy. And you can see Rune Forge is now on 70 seconds cooldown. So, takes a long time to return. Much more importantly, these axes just don't do shit for damage. Oops. Oops. Huh, we already spoiled one right there. But, like, if I throw these axes at these boys, like, this just does nothing. Now, I understand that the axes apply the debuff that, you know, amp your damage. So now if I hit this guy, like, I do hit pretty hard. And I understand that part. But I feel like Beastmaster is the kind of hero that really needs to get, like, Necrobook, right? And then, like, a Soul Crust or a BKB. And doesn't really have, like, that much time for an Aghanims early on. And if you want to get it to complement your item build later, this just seems like it's a bit slow. It just seems like it's a bit slow. Now, I understand there's a talent, right? So we could say, okay, well, I mean, you don't have the talent, obviously, you know. Also became, what the fuck this? Doesn't make a difference. Alright, but like the talent doesn't even really do that much damage either. I'm not that impressed, right? And it does use a lot of mana as well. It's just... maybe it's good, right? Because like inherently the effect is pretty powerful of just not having a cooldown on an ability, but it just seems like it's not the right hero for it. You know what I mean? Broodmother. Oh, Broodmother's really, really silly. Okay, so Broodmother now gets additional webs. If you have Aghanims, she gets additional movement speed. And also, it removes her movement speed limit. Now, the additional movement speed and removing her movement speed limit is pretty good, don't get me wrong. But the really broken thing here is how many webs she can have. So I set up, like I spun 20 webs around the map. And we're gonna go ahead and just follow that really quick, alright? So you're gonna go see and see how much space this occupies. I saw somebody on Reddit do the math on this, and Broodmother, with her webs, can occupy about 25% of the map in terms of space. Like, that is actually, like, webs on it. Now, that calculation was done with no consideration for things like, you know, these tree areas here or the bases where you wouldn't necessarily want to spin webs. And by the way, this is still just one long continuous web, right? Yeah, it is actually absurd. Like 20 webs is so much, and we're still going. And here we go. That's 20. So we started here and we ended here. Like, we took a pretty significant tour around the map here. Alright, this wasn't something minor. So there's a lot of webs that she can spin. And she moves pretty quickly. 561 with no movement speed items, right? If you just slap some boots on her, she'll go nuts. There's no talent for webs, no. Let's see, that's asking in chat. So yeah, that's Broodmother. Clinks! Oh, Clinks is an interesting fella. Clinks now can summon skeletons. No, I know he could summon them before. Oh, first, you need to actually skill Burning Army for this to work. I know this says upgradable by Aghanims, like on Skeleton Walk, but it actually doesn't work unless you have Burning Army skilled. Now, I understand that won't matter 90% of the time, because why would you not skill Skeleton Army? Like Burning Army. Right, like, I understand that, but I just wanted to mention it. So, when you break Skeleton Walk, you will summon 2 skeletons. Now, these skeletons are just Burning Army skeletons. So, they have all of the stats from the Burning Army. So, we're gonna go invisible, go here and up here, and look at that, we got our boys. Now, you may notice something about the boys. Look at that duration. Yeah, they last a long time, like a really, really, really long time, which I don't think is much of a, you know, like I don't know. It clearly states 20 seconds on the ability, right? So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise. But like, to me, it's still just like, damn, that's strong, right? Especially since you gotta keep in mind 17 seconds cooldown. So what I can do, wait, let's actually unmod the fuck this to give this a bit more credibility. So what I can do is, like, I guess you kind of saw me do it right there. But we're gonna go ahead and kill these really quick. So I'm just waiting with my Clinks right now. Just chilling, right? No big deal. And now my Skeleton Walk is off cooldown. So what I will do is I'm going to break it and attack. And that's 4 skeletons. So that's pretty good because they're like also so closely situated next to each other, which is usually something that's a little bit of a downfall with the Burning Army, right? And to a certain extent, this is your ultimate, right? Like at level 1, you do only summon 4 skeletons, and you know, you can summon 4 skeletons like that really, really quickly. So, not sure how good this is as an effect. Like, I feel like as an effect, it is pretty powerful. I don't know how good of it is as an item, I suppose, right? Because I feel like Clinks has different priorities, but the effect itself is strong. The effect itself is pretty strong. I feel like that's undeniable. I just don't know if this is necessarily something that Clinks needs or can afford to buy. So, we have Dark Willow next. Now, this one is insane, okay? This one is insane. By the way, we're going to go ahead and let this run out really quick, see how that plays out. But Dark Willows is the naughtiest thing. This is actually just the dumbest ability in the game, alright? Oh, by the way, yeah, you can see if it runs out, we still get the skeletons. So how does Dark Willow work? Attacking no longer takes you out of Shadow Realm, and each attack still has the bonus damage based on the duration of the buff. So you activate Shadow Realm. Usually if you attack once, you break out of Shadow Realm. Now you don't. So you attack, and you attack again, and you attack again, and you just keep attacking. Right? Now, Shadow Realm has some benefits. First of all, you are not... First of all, you're not targetable anymore. Secondly, you do a lot of bonus damage. Also, you get range. Look at that range. Right? Like, that's actually like a really big thing. She gets 600 bonus attack range, and she can just like sit this far away and attack things. Now, something that's really important to remember is that Dark Willow has some talents and some stats that help her quite a bit in this. Alright, so 30 damage, 35 movement speed, right? 10% spell lifesteal might actually not be a bad choice now, and then of course 200 attack speed. Now, in case you don't notice, Dark Willow actually has the lowest base attack time in the game. She can attack faster than any other hero. She gets plus 200 attack speed, and then if you have no items just with the stats, then it kind of looks like this. And yeah, I mean that was what, 3,000 damage? No items. No items. If you get some items, of course, then she'll hit a little bit harder. But it is actually insane, and the worst part is you can't interact with her. I mean, you just cannot interact with her at all. She's invincible during it. So this one, I just, especially since I feel like Dark Willow is actually a hero that doesn't mind buying an Aghanim, so provides decent stats for her, right? She can use that. I think it's just very powerful. This one seems like a very, very powerful one. Death Prophet. Death Prophet is interesting. So, Death Prophet, every time she attacks or uses one of her abilities on an enemy, she summons a ghost. This ghost flies out, deals damage, returns to her, heals her. So if I now have my anti-mage attack our Death Prophet here to kind of like, you know, get some damage on her, we now hit back. There we go. Ghost comes out, deals damage, and heals us a little bit. Nice. Right, of course, as we attack more, we get more ghosts. We can just kind of like help amp up our damage output pretty significantly. Since this scales 100% with any sort of attack speed, right, like in Soul Crust seems like not that terrible of a choice on Death Prophet by any means, because it was already a pretty good choice. Another cool thing about the ghosts is they actually apply a slowing effect. It's pretty short, but it is a slowing effect, and the slowing effect in of itself is fairly powerful. Now, it doesn't work that Spirit Siphon just like summons a million ghosts. Spirit Siphon will summon one ghost. But you can Crypt Swarm multiple heroes or multiple targets and summon a bunch of ghosts on them. Now, of course, the big question is, how does Exorcism work with this? Exorcism doesn't work with this. If I don't attack, I will not summon any additional ghosts. You can tell because none of these boys are being slowed. If I do attack in the meantime, I can summon additional ghosts, but Exorcism itself will not. I think this is still a good ability. Death Prophet is a hero that I feel like you're happy to buy Aghanims on, or like you want kind of a reason to buy Aghanims on. Even before she was the kind of hero where I had personally felt like she could have used an Aghanims for a long time, because it's just the kind of effect that makes sense for her. The stats work out well. And overall, she would be happy to buy one. So I feel like it doesn't really matter. Test silence? Alright, alright. I think silence should apply it, but yeah. Here we go. But overall, I think this is the kind of effect that is good enough for a hero that was already kind of like, I wish I had an Aghanim, so it doesn't even need to be that good. And yeah, I would be surprised if we don't see this at least once in a while. Seems kind of decent enough. Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight gets a 4th level dragon. So, it's a black dragon. Now, I didn't level up Dragon Knight all the way yet. Because here's actually the important thing. The way the Aghanims works is it basically levels up your ultimate 1 additional level, right? So if you have level 1 ultimate, now you have level 2 ultimate. If you have level 2 ultimate, you have level 3 ultimate. And if you have level 3 ultimate with Aghanims, you have level 4 ultimate. Makes sense. Now, this is actually where I believe the most important thing comes in. I think this Aghanims allows you to rush Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon is super, 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 super good. So what you can do is you rush Aghanims, and then you can, at level 12, have Blue Dragon. You can see I only have 2 levels into my ultimate right now, and I have Blue Dragon because I have Aghanims. And that is nice. That is strong. That is something you can use, and that's something that you can get a lot of value out of. So that's something that I like. Now let's go ahead and look at the Black Dragon. So what does Black Dragon do? A Black Dragon has 50% more corrosive damage, which is the Green Dragon ability, 50% more splash damage, and has 50% more slow. It also increases your attack range to 600 and gives you 30% magic resistance. So it's like somewhat of an alternative to BKB. So, Black Dragon. There we go. Look at this bad boy. But yeah, like, I think also having it be an alternative to BKB is something that is actually quite good for Dragon Knight. Right? That's something that makes a lot of sense. Because Dragon Knight is the kind of hero that can actually say, oh, I want to just go pipe instead of BKB because I'm just going to live through it. So I like it a lot, and I think actually this is an effect that we might see, because the important note here is that it lets you get to the Blue Dragon so quickly, right? Like the Aghanims here, to me, the biggest effect is not actually the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon is nice, but the fact that you can get Blue Dragon at level 12 is so good. It is so good. So I really actually... I originally thought when I saw Aghanims on Dragon, I'm like, not a big deal. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like it could be. So, yeah, we'll go Black Dragon here. Let's throw out an attack. Looks like that. Right, and then look at that slow. I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, of course, the Black Dragon itself is also powerful. I don't mean to discredit the Black Dragon. Black Dragon is very good. But I feel like the biggest benefit is really getting that Blue Dragon really early. Elder Titan. Okay, Elder Titan. That's where we got him. Over here. So, Elder Titan. Now, if you cast your Q, you're magic immune during it, if you have Aghanims. And for any enemy hit, while you're stomping with the Q, you retain the magic immunity for... how many seconds? 2 additional seconds. At least it says so in the patch notes. I'm not sure if that's accurate. It does seem like that was a little bit longer. But anyway, you can get a lot of magic immunity this way, right? Like, I think Guaranteed Stomp is pretty damn powerful. But you can see, damn, we're magic immune, boys. That is not 8 seconds. It is 2 seconds times hero number hit. Yeah, I hit 4 heroes. That should have been 8 seconds. That was a lot more than 8 seconds. Oh, if you don't use the W, it's double. Oh. Wait, really? Now that looks like... That is 6 seconds. That is 6 seconds. Okay. So if I hit them with both of these, I get a lot more magic immunity. Look at that. Now that is not 8 seconds. That is 16. Now that is really interesting, right? Okay. Cool. But yeah, Elder Titan gets a lot of magic immunity that way. So, in other words, carry Elder Titan coming in. Especially since, you know, it's like, that's actually something I like about this effect, is that it sets itself up, you know, like it allows itself to work. So, because you get magic immunity to finish the channel. Ember Spirit. Oh, this one is stupid. Oh my god. Okay, so Ember Spirit gets 3 times the cast range. Initial movement speed is 2 times faster. Maximum number of charges increased to 5. And activating Fire Remnant costs no mana. So, now, Fire Remnant already had a pretty long cast range. Now you might be like, okay, so what does 3 times cast range really mean? Does it mean this much? Yeah, it does actually mean that much. Does it mean this much? Yeah, actually it does. Does it mean this much? Yep, yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe even this much? Oh, yeah, no, we're still going. Can we go this far? I think we moved now. Let's put him right next to the Mars so we know exactly where he's at. Can we cast here? Okay, so we can cast from here all the way over here. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about this cast range. Right? And then, of course, we do this. And we zip around like a madman. Let's go ahead and do What the Fuck. And then we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves the minus 25 seconds restoration time. So now we can do shit like this. Whee! Alright, we've got a pretty low restoration time. It costs space. Well, I mean, it costs no mana anymore. We just zip around like crazy. Now we've got 5 charges, and each of them does 300 damage. We annihilate people. It's actually kind of crazy. Actually kind of... I mean, look at this! Pew! I mean, the travel time. Sorry. The cast range is just insane. My screen is telling me it's gonna turn itself off. So I'm gonna go ahead and prevent that. Grimstroke! This is a fun boy. He can summon illusions. Yeah. It's an active, cast it on an enemy, summons an illusion. Now, this illusion is stupid. Why is it stupid? Because it's magic immune! Now, that's not the only reason why the illusion is stupid. There are other reasons why the illusion is stupid. First of all, it has more movement speed. You can see 424, 331. Also, the illusion deals more damage. It deals 150% damage. And then, finally, illusion takes 200% damage. So, it's not that crazy, but, you know. But the illusion has 20 seconds duration and 35 seconds cooldown. Also... we are Grimstroke. Don't forget about that fun fact. More illusions. They're both magic immune. They both do tons of damage. They are both just crazy good. So, yeah, look at this. Oh, you okay, Coco? Oh, my cat is vomiting on the floor. Oh, okay. She is fine. You okay, Coco? Yeah, she seems okay. Oh, okay. Well, that was a little bit scary, but don't worry. She's fine. Thank you, Coco, for this brief interruption. And vomiting on the floor. I will have to deal with that in a second. We have Whisp. Where did he go? Oh, here we go. So, Whisp just kind of turns the W into a passive. You okay, Coco? Yeah, okay. She's stopped vomiting. Okay, we're good. Yeah, it turns the W into a passive. So, it kind of passively spawns the balls. Alright, you can no longer actively use it to spawn balls, but you can control them still. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, like the balls actually spawn very frequently. It's kind of crazy, like 1 a second, right? So we just kind of like sit here, you can see there's a lot of balls coming out. So that's kind of nice. That's pretty strong effect if you ask me, but I don't know if IO can really afford to go for an Aghanims. Lycan is something that has been going on the entire game, but Lycan's Aghanim makes it so that 2 wolves spawn in a lane at random, so in any one of the 3 lanes at random. And they just walk down the lane as creeps. They're just creeps. This doesn't impact your normal wolf spawning. You cannot control them. They just will act like creeps, but if they get last hits, you will get gold for it. If you get the level 25 talent, you do not spawn additional wolves, but we can go ahead and test that really quick, right? And as soon as the next spawn happens, we will see. Mars. So Mars, are we in what the fuck right now? Mars, if you have Arena of Blood going on, God's Rebuke has a 1.4 second cooldown. So you can kind of spam this. It's not the most impressive change, to be honest, but it is a change. Monkey King. So this is something we have seen already. Monkey King will spawn these monkey soldiers around him. Now the soldiers will attack, right? They kind of work exactly like Monkey King soldiers, right? They will just kind of like attack anything in range. They work like they work for the ultimate, right? They're also part of Wukong's command. You have to have Wukong's command skilled for them to spawn. But you can, you know, like run in here and then have the monkeys attack that. It's actually interesting. The monkeys don't pull aggro. I guess they're invincible anyway, so makes sense. Alright. You can have up to 3 of them active at once, right? I guess very briefly you can have 4 active, but then it will despawn. And yeah, they spawn every 3.5 seconds, last 12 seconds. They don't spawn if you're invisible or on trees, and they can attack any target. But they will not attack buildings if you're not within 500 range of them. So it's all nice and obvious. Night Stalker. Oh, this is a nasty one. So Night Stalker's Aghanim turns the Void into an AoE. It also reduces the cooldown on it and increases the stun duration slightly. The AoE is 900, which is really big. So it kind of looks like this. Yeah. It is very powerful. I actually think this is kind of nasty. This is definitely a pretty strong effect. I mean, look at that. Right, applying the Void to everybody. And I mean, Void is already a good ability. Like, this is a strong ability. It does good damage. It does a good slow. So, all around, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Do the monkey soldiers spawn if you're transformed? Good question. Let's figure that out. Alright, let's transform. We are a courier now. Doesn't seem like it, no. So they don't spawn if we're transformed either. Night Stalker Morphling added Scepter upgrade. So Morphling now, while Morphed has 35% cooldown reduction, 50% mana cost reduction, and 600 cast range. I think the thing that's the most easy to show there is the additional cast range. So we can morph into somebody. Who do we want to morph into? I mean, we've got a lot of choices here. Why don't we just take our good friend Bane? So this right here has quite a bit of cast range, right? We can just sit in the bag and brain sap, and yeah. Alright, if we compare that to the actual Bane, who doesn't quite have the same luxury. Oh yeah, that's Morphling. Panga Lea. Oh, this one is weird. So Panga Lea, when you use your shield crash, you will use half swashbuckle, as in you will only do 2 strikes of swashbuckle into 4 directions around you, which are gonna be in 90-degree angles according, or like based on where you're facing. So I'm looking forward, it looks like this. Oh, I guess like I'm always looking forward by default, right? But yeah, that's just kind of how it looks like. They can apply Lucky Shot. Alright, here we go. It's disarmed now. By the way, Lucky Shot no longer can silence. Instead, it reduces armor a little bit and disarms. But yeah. That's really all there is to say about that. If you are in the ultimate, it looks like this. Personally, I think this would have been a little bit... I don't know. It feels a little bit awkward to use. I think it would have been a bit more interesting if it used the swashbuckle after you land as opposed to when you cast. But I assume it would have been a little bit more difficult to hit people with it then. But yeah. If you want to see what this looks like with the talents, so we have the 2-second shield crash skilled. right? So we can just kind of like spam like this. And you can see we get quite a few hits out. Honestly, I think this is an effect that's totally worthwhile. I mean, Panga Lea is a hero that can definitely fit an Aghanims into an item build if he really wants to. So, yeah. At the same time, it's just hard to really hit things with it and get a lot of value out of it. I mean, we can get ourselves the additional swashbuckle damage, right? And it does a little bit more. But even then, it's just not that much damage. But, you know, if you get some javelins or something, maybe then. Anyway. So, Phantom Assassin. Oh, that sounds interesting. So, Phantom Assassin gets... First of all, Blur has a shorter cooldown and no fade time, right? Sorry, no cast point. There we go. So you can't just vanish like this. Also, if you get a kill, all of your cooldowns reset. So we kind of need to, of course, let's go ahead and what the fuck this. Let's go ahead and get ourselves the strongest thing we can. And we're probably going to go ahead and just kill this Grimstroke really quick. So our stuff is currently on cooldown. I'm going to go ahead and kill him with a dagger. And then, oh, I guess not. There we go. And now we can dagger again. Alright, fairly straightforward. We can, like, go invisible. So this is on cooldown. And it's no longer on cooldown. So she can kind of go nutty like that. I don't know. You're buying Aghanims on Spectre. Spectre. Phantom Assassin. Talking about Spectre. We're getting to that in a second. But you're buying Aghanims on Phantom Assassin, which is a little bit sketch, but, you know. Razor, I have the Storm. I have the Storm now, has a lower fire rate. It doesn't, like, you don't get an increase with Aghanims anymore. But it shoots 2 targets. Which is interesting, I guess. Yeah. If you static link somebody, it will still make sure you hit them, but, you know, not with both effects. You cannot shoot the same target twice. You can only shoot a target a single time. And that's how I have the Storm works. So yeah. Phoenix. Supernova. You can now cast Sunray during Supernova. Also, Supernova now resets your cooldown when you cast it, as opposed to... resets your cooldowns when you cast it, as opposed to when you finish channeling it. So, kind of looks like this. I do that, and then I Supernova, and hey, look at that. We can still continue doing this. There's actually a funny little thing I found. Right? You can... So... You cast your Supernova, and then you cast the Sunray behind, and there's this little really quick movement, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah, like you can start casting this when you're in the egg. And it's fairly straightforward, honestly. This is not that crazy. This is not that crazy. Of course, you don't take damage in the egg. Although it seems that I have somehow. Slaughter. So Slaughter leaves a puddle behind. Beep. It's a pretty big puddle. Look at this puddle. As long as you're in the puddle, you get some buffs. What do you get? You get 25 HP regeneration, 12 armor, and 40% status resistance. This also applies to the river. So if you look at my health regen, right, I have 17 right now. And now I'm in the river, and I get bonus health regen. So with Aghanims, you also have all of these buffs as long as you're just within the river in general. So that's pretty cool, right? Also, Guardian Sprint has been reworked, so it doesn't give you 700 movement speed while it's active in the river anymore. Instead, you just gain bonus movement speed in the river. You just get like 50% more, right? That also applies to the puddles, right? So if I use this in here, we just kind of go hella quick, and we get out of the puddle. We don't go as quick anymore, and I do that, and now we're hella quick again, right? Though 25, Slaughter has a very low cooldown because he has a new cooldown reduction talent. So if we unmod the fuck this, you can see the cooldown on this is actually just straight up minimal. So you can puddle up everything. Just pee on all of your enemies. Assert your dominance. Spectre. Where did she go? There you go. She gets Shadow Step, which is Haunt, but single target. And yeah, got global cast range, so you can just kind of cast it like this. It works exactly like Haunt. Like it summons an illusion, right? And you can swap place with the illusion. right? So it just kind of like gives her another ultimate, but a little worse. It's got a lower cooldown. I gotta be completely honest, I don't know why you would ever want this. Because it's the same effect as the ultimate, it serves the same purpose. So it just kind of seems weird, but she got it. Templar Assassin. Now this one's a little bit crazier. So Templar Assassin has a new ability called Psionic Projection, which has a relatively low cooldown. And it allows you to teleport to a trap that you have light. It detonates the trap once you teleport there. So let's go ahead and just kind of show this off a little bit. All right, kind of works like this. And yeah, then you teleport there. You can do this while melted and not lose meld. Right, so you can see I'm not breaking meld. Also, and this is the really important thing here, this shit has global range. So I can teleport to this one. Or I could alternatively teleport to this one. Or I could just go back to where I started. So this effect is insane. I mean, this is a very strong effect. It's just an absurdly powerful effect. The problem with this effect is that you need to have an Aghanim. Right? Like, TA to me is not the kind of hero where you want to buy an Aghanim, but if you see a reason or find a reason to buy one, then this is a good reward for that. Terror Blade. Yes. Metamorphosis now applies a fear effect in a 1600 radius for 3 seconds. Kind of looks like this. The really important thing to note here is that it doesn't speed up enemies' movement speed. Usually fear effects increase movement speed. This one doesn't. So you can actually just kind of think of this as a little bit of a straight up stun. Right? So, yeah. Is it worth an Aghanim? Probably not. Tiny. No, Tiny is actually a hero where he's got a nice new ability. So, Tree Volley. The way this works is that it's a channeled ability that will throw a random tree within 525 range towards the targeted AoE, and it deals 125% of your damage to enemies in that area. So it kind of looks like this. Alright. It does a lot of damage, like you saw right there. It's pretty strong. I don't even have my ultimate skilled, right? Like, it's pretty powerful. Now, you can see it applies Scotty. Alright, so it does act as an attack. But it does not use the tree grab charges. But yeah, it's just kind of strong, honestly. Now, one of the things that I think might be a problem with this ability, you need trees. You actually need a lot of trees. Like, the AoE for this 525 is not that big. And finding enough trees to be able to effectively use this might end up being a problem. It's a bit easy right here because we've got a Treant Protector refreshing all of the trees all the time. But other than that, might be a little bit rough. So, yeah. Like, that's the one thing that makes me a bit sketch about it. The effect is clearly very powerful, but the fact that you need that many trees around might make it a bit tricky to use. And we got Troll Warlord. So his Scepter makes it so you can use your ultimate on allies, and it has a lower cooldown. Honestly, I think the main reason why you would want to buy this is for the lower cooldown. But yeah, you can also use it on enemies. I don't know why you would want to, but I guess if you're playing what the fuck mode, you can kind of like get people in these endless fights, which would be kind of funny. Which seems to me like the main use for this effect. I don't really know what else this is good for. This does not seem that useful if you ask me. I gotta say, I'm not a believer right here. This just doesn't seem that useful. I gotta say. Maybe if you have like a, I feel like this effect might only exist so Rubik can steal it and then apply it, right? Like, I feel like that's when this is at its most powerful, when like, your enemy Troll Warlord doesn't have Aghanim but activates ultimate, and then you as Rubik come in and steal the ultimate, and you have Aghanim and you apply the ultimate to an ally. Like, that to me seems like the prime use for this. I don't know what else it's for, it just seems weird. But But yeah. And then we got some minor things that we're going to go through really quick. I had a Warlock around here somewhere. Oh, there he is. So, Warlock. Now, Chaotic Offering works like a Mokra 3, as in the second golem comes out a little bit slower. Like, not much, but like a tiny little bit, right? So it applies a second stun, which I guess is cool. We have Bane, Brain Sap, that now has a lower cast point. Much lower, actually. It's really easy to use. So, comes out super quick. Yeah. It's pretty strong. We have Windranger. Windranger has actually been reworked a little bit. So, Windrun. Now, if you get Aghanims, you get 2 charges of it. And it also removes the movement speed limit while active. Now, with 2 charges of this, if you do the math, I feel like it becomes obvious very quickly. You can actually have Windrun active for a minimum of 18 seconds, which is stupid. Like, it's just insane. Now, Aghanims doesn't affect the ultimate anymore. The ultimate now has just lower cooldown in general. And also, she has a level 25 talent that reduces focus fire damage reduction. But if you take the cooldown reduction talent, you can also reduce the cooldown on Windrun even more. And then kind of spam Windrun even more. So with just that talent, let's see how many Windruns can we really get out. I think we can actually go up to 24 seconds of Windrun, right? That should be possible. That math adds up. Yeah, that math does add up. So we can have 24 seconds of Windrun going on. And I mean, that's if you're like spamming it exactly, right? You just... yeah. you just have a lot of Windrun now. So you're gonna be really hard to hit. Axe now applies this Battle Hunger in an AoE, which is great, I guess. I don't know why. This just seems pointless, but if you ask me, I don't really get why that changed, but oh well. Shuriken Toss now has 400 additional cast range. This right here now reduces the Scepter Phantasm damage taken from 260% to 180%. Kotl now can go back to not having to channel this kind of shit anymore, which is nice. Also, Chakra Magic can now be used on enemies, and it's mana leak, right? It like leaks out their mana. It doesn't apply stun though. So yeah, then Brewmaster, Primal Spit now also grants Broodings 100 movement speed. This is really difficult for me to show, but if you look at them, 425, 450, 650, right? So getting 100 more movement speed. I can't have them walk around because Dota doesn't let me, but getting 100 more movement speed here I think is really nice. And that's it. That's it. So all we have to do now is leave our game right here and buy an Aghanims in a different practice match. And that would be it. That would be the weirdness of 7.22. Sorry, I imagine that ended up being quite long. How long are we? 53 minutes. There's a lot of new abilities. You know, I want to really make sure that we give every new ability like the dignity it deserves. And we really talk about it. I don't want to like skip over any new abilities and rush it. So it ended up taking a little bit. Alright, so we have infinite money here, of course. So I buy an Aghanims, right? So I've got my Aghanims effect now. What I can do then is I can buy the Aghanim Scepter consumable for another 2,000 gold. And now I have consumed it, but you may notice I lost the stats, which is really important. Like the fact that I don't have the stats anymore is a really big change. This basically means the only time you do this is when you need the item slot. So the consumable Aghanims thing is something that really only matters in the super late game. That's the only time it matters. Only time it matters is in the super late game. Now, talking about the consumable Aghanims, you can actually get a consumable Aghanims from Roshan. So the third Roshan has a 50% chance to drop a consumable Aghanims or a refresher shard, and the fourth Roshan drops both. So if you grind Roshans like crazy, you can get consumable Aghanims on your team. And that's it. Did I forget anything, chat? I don't think so. We wanted to look at Death Prophet. Did we want to look at Death Prophet? Was there anything with Death Prophet? No, I don't actually think so. All right. So yeah, that was the weirdness of 7.22. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do some silly stuff with these mods. Oh yeah, one thing we wanted to try out was actually, let's select a new hero. I want to select Death Prophet. We wanted to try out items on Death Prophet with Aghanims, because I don't believe it works, but we didn't have an opportunity to test that earlier. So let's go ahead and have a quick glancing look. And no, items do not work. Actually, maybe because I haven't skilled my ultimate yet. Alright, I'll up to max. So now we have skilled our ultimate. Hey, Lea, thank you very much for the 25 months. So no, items do not work. Right? No. Just no. Alright, cool. So now we know. Alright. That's gonna be the weirdness of 7.22. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a rating on the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.